Well, welcome, Radical Ones. This is the Radical Retro Rewind podcast with Ryan and David. We don't have a topic today. We are freestyling. It's going to be a little this, a little that, a little coffee talk.
I love freestyle music.
We're not talking about Little Susie here, but...
We're not talking about...
Lisa, I mean, we could. This is...
Lisa and Cult Jam.
There's no wrong answers today.
Well, maybe you should go into the mailbox and get out the mail that we've received. All one pieces.
Hold on, let me take out this one little piece of paper.
You've got mail.
This actually, weeks ago, back in April, I asked if there was any questions that anyone had for the show, and we did have a response. This is from friend of the show, Shawn. He asks, what childhood show or movie do you think has the most impact on your life, and how?
That is such a hard question to answer because there's so many little things that have really stuck out for me, but I will say that I don't know why, that's the top of my head. You know what comes up? You're gonna laugh. The Electric Grandmother.
Oh my! So I bet you people don't even know what this is, David. You should just tell everyone about this movie because
we should do a whole podcast on that.
Well, so if anyone wants to hear about this, yeah.
It stars, oh God, Stapleton. What's her name? It was Maureen Stapleton. Maureen Stapleton. So it was Maureen Stapleton. It was about a family of 3 kids and a dad. Their mother died, and they get a mysterious
coffin.
Something comes down from the sky, and it's this talking thing, and it says, "Come to Bellaccini's factory or something, and we're the Electric Grandmothers," or something like that.
Beautiful noodle. What is?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's a whole other story. Basically, the movie is about 3 kids who lost their mother. It's a single dad. They get an invitation. They get an invitation to go to, I think it's called Bellaccini's factory, and they end up doing these different things, picking out colors and different things, and they create an electric grandmother.
Too, right?
Yeah,
even
eye colors.
The eyes?
Yeah, that they actually all speak into a microphone, and it records all their voices, and it basically creates an electric grandmother. So the whole premise of this movie is so sad. It's
strange.
It's very strange. It's very sad at the same time. So there's 2 boys and a girl. The 2 boys take to the grandmother very quickly, and they just like the fact that this woman is there, like a motherly figure for them. The little girl hates the grandmother. She resents her.
What's her name? Agatha? No.
Yeah, Agatha.
Agatha? Was her name Agatha in this movie?
Yeah, Agatha. Not Abigail, Agatha.
Oh my God, she shoots milk and juice out of her fingertips?
And stuff, and she cooks for them. She does their laundry. She reads to them, and she personifies all of the aspects of a loving grandmother or parental figure while the dad's able to go to work. Towards the end of the movie, the kids start to really love her. But so we're going into AI and how, things like that. So basically, the reason why I love this is, and it's made a difference for me, and I'm going to tell you because I know I'm very long-winded when I talk about things like that. But so there's a point in the movie where Agatha gets very upset and runs from the grandmother. She's really upset. She's like, "You're just going to go away," and she's like, and then she stops what she's saying, and the grandmother's like, "What do you who what?" So she ends up running away, and she almost gets hit by a car, and the grandmother actually pulls her out of the way and throws herself in front of the car to save her from getting hit by the car. So then the girl is crying her eyes out, bawling, and oh my God, don't leave like mom did. Don't leave like mommy left me. And oh my God, I'm crying thinking about it. And she's like, I can't die. I'm robot, essentially.
I'm an electric grandmother.
She's the electric grandmother. So, lo and behold, you find out that this whole time this girl is resistant to loving anybody else again because of the fact that she lost her mother, and she's afraid that she's going to be left alone again. So let me tie this all together. There is a song, it's very emotional for me and very poignant. So there is a song sung about don't fear and never fear. And actually, towards the end of the movie, you find out that the kids have aged, so they're older, and the grandmother comes back to take care of them again. So I'm tying this in because I sing that song. I changed the lyrics. I sing that song to my son.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing because it comes full circle, and it brings you back to your childhood, and now you're a parent as well.
And I think about how my children have gone through loss. We love them, but they dealing with their, the loss with their own mother and the issues that they went through. She's not gone, but she's gone to them because of what, my children are adopted. And obviously there's a reason why they were in the system. So I guess that brought something out of me. So that is there's a song I sing to my kids. I changed the lyrics to from dad and daddy instead of grandma, and it actually fits really, really well. I used to sing that to my littlest one every night to make him go to sleep. And so that movie, I guess, means a lot to me because it also talks about loss. It talks about being able to love again. So that means a lot to me. So that really, I guess, is the answer.
Timothy, Timothy, never you fear. Trouble won't trouble you now that I'm here. I know the secrets that grandmothers know. Trust me to love you and help you to grow.
Okay, so it aired on January 17th of 1982 on NBC as a 60-minute Project Peacock special based on the 1969 science fiction short story I Sing the Body Electric.
Trip the Light Fantastic? I don't know.
But to David's point, this is a very obscure movie, but it is a really powerful movie as well. And it really makes you, again, like most of the things that we cover, Last Unicorn, it makes you think of life and death and legacy. So yeah, so Electric Grandmother, definitely. It's totally obscure though.
Yeah, I actually got it on like a bootleg DVD that was ripped from a VHS tape that was so old.
Honestly, I think that's the only way you can get a movie like this, because there's so many of these made-for-TV movies that are just lost for time. I mean, we've mentioned Bunnicula, we've mentioned The Trouble with Miss Switch. These are cartoons, but these were TV movies, and they're lost to time, unfortunately.
Well, you know what's really funny is that, again, very ahead of its time. You know, we always go into that ethical conversation, or I don't even know if that's the word I'm looking for, but like the conversation about AI and can computers or programs learn to have feelings? Because the funny thing is, at the end of the movie, there's a bunch of grandmothers sitting together, these electric grandmothers, and they're all chatting. And the one grandmother says, you know, sometimes I think I feel. And the other grandmother says, you know what? Sometimes I think I feel too. And then they play like the sound from their speaker or whatever. It's funny. Like they look like human beings, but like the grandmother, like the kid saying, I love you, grandma, and this and that. And she's like, you know what?
Oh, I remember.
I do sometimes think that I feel. And you kind of draws that line. And it, you know, based on the fact that it was based on a short story, is that correct?
Yeah, it's based on a short story from the 60s. It makes sense. It sounds
again, it's ahead of its time. It's also talking about that kind of duality, or whatever you want to say, between what the physical world to us is and fantasy, as well as, I mean, where we're going with technology. So.
Wow, David, this is even more. So the film is based on the 1969 short story I Sing the Electronic by Ray Bradbury, which itself is based on the Twilight Zone I Sing the Body Electronic 1962, which was the episode that this author wrote. So he wrote a Twilight Zone episode in 1962, but then made a short story which led to The Electric Grandmother.
So that I guess definitely stands out for me, you know, and definitely means something. There's so many things. We talk about so many things that are important to us, and so many things, even down to when we do Thundercats. It's like there's certain things that I learned from that show, like morals, you know, the moral story, the moral ending, or whatever you want to say. But anyway, yeah.
I'm trying to think of even anything close to that. Still true today.
I would say it's when you were told that you were going to be a circus performer by your guidance.
Yeah. Why did David? I could have been something.
You did like Dumbo Circus when you were a kid on Disney Channel. Dumbo Circus, to see an elephant fly is something that you really shouldn't miss.
And what about the elephant show with Lewis? What was it?
Oh, Sherry
Lewis.
Skidamarinky dinky dink, skidamarinky doo. I love you.
One elephant went out to play upon a spider's web one day.
He had such enormous fun that he called for another elephant to come.
That was definitely a God.
Sherry Lois and Brand.
Yes. God, you know, I'm trying to think of something that still touches me until today. Well, I gotta tell you, I mean, David had brought this up in another episode, but I cry still every time that last episode of Charmed comes up, and you see.
Oh, I cry too. I mean, it shows when they have the pic. The only thing missing is obviously Shannon Doherty's picture.
Which, can I tell you, by the way?
They should have just paid her to put it on the wall. That would have been the it.
You know what I found out now? Well, this has been going on. You know, the Brad Kern was the guy who took over when the original creator and Shannon left, and they say basically he kind of might have been battling with Shannon too over things. He's the one who took over and basically made it the sexy fairy tale.
How much tighter
Charmed.
can the clothes get? How much more clothes can Alyssa Milano take off? And
Exactly. And he stole the Book of Shadows from Holly Marie Combs famously, because evidently they were supposed to do like part-time with
Ownership.
him, part-time with her. Yeah, and he's yet to to relinquish that to Holly. But he says years later that he found out it wasn't the case, that they could have used Prue and Shannon Doherty's likeness the whole time. They didn't have to pay for her. So to me, I think he just, after all these years, that was his FU to her and all those things like, oh, I'm not using you. But I mean, I could be putting things, but anyway.
I mean, wasn't she still the exclusive producer, and so was Alyssa Milano? I would have went back and had her picture put into the last episode, and that would.
They could still do it now, honestly, if they wanted to.
That would have been the copy of. It's like going back.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah. Lucasfilms will come in and destroy every copy that does not have all the new stuff in it. You will never find a copy unless you have an obscure VHS tape from 1981.
Speaking of Star Wars, I have to tell you, that is another thing that I feel like I just grew up with, being the younger brother of you and Michael. But Star Wars is another thing that I feel like I sit there and I go, oh my God, Star Wars really has a generation. Every generation has a Star Wars, like the original trilogy. A sequel is born.
Jar Jar Banks, go away. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, thank.
So your kids, David, have no interest in Star Wars, right, at all?
No. My children have no interest in anything that makes me happy. No, I'm kidding. I tried to share with them Peach Dragon.
Yes, okay, yes.
They'll actually watch the new one, which doesn't anything like the old one. They have watched Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, which was also one of my old.
Okay.
They're okay with it. They're all right. They're not too impressed, but they're okay.
But you know what? I guess that's why they make remakes, right? Because there is something about a modern take on.
But you lose the magic of like the original song. So again, no offense to
the dragon community.
No, the newer remake of the live action, I should say, not even the live action of Beauty and the Beast. Angela Lansbury singing Beauty and the Beast versus Emma Thompson.
Yes. Okay.
So
yes.
Emma Thompson versus Angela Lansbury's crackly, beautiful old voice. There's no comparison. I'm sorry. Like, to me, again, no offense. She's a great actress. I nothing against her, nothing against her voice either, but there's no comparison. And I'm sorry, I love Will Smith, but Robin Williams, even though, again, you're comparing a cartoon to a live action, but I'm talking about just the funniness, the level of cleverness, and there's no comparison between the two. So yes, I love to see them do live action stuff. I love it. It's cool. Even Maleficent, which gives a new take on Maleficent, but I mean,
I like it for what it is. Maleficent in that movie is pure evil in the original.
I'm sorry, yeah, you can't be like, she was scorned by this man who cut her wings off, so now she's going to curse a poor innocent child. That makes it like, okay. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Sorry, it doesn't make you a better person because that make you less evil to curse an innocent child because you're mad at the father. If I'm mad at my neighbor, I don't go after their children.
Some people do, though.
Well, these days some people do, but like normal people don't do that sort of thing. So I have. Well,
they definitely tried to. I guess that's a reimagine remake.
Oh my God. And by the way, who did not believe for a few months or time period that I actually thought that it was, what's her name singing
Yes, Angelina Jolie. It sounds exactly like...
and I think they purposely made it seem like that. It was Lana Del Rey.
I agree. I thought it was Angelina singing that Once Upon a Dream for months as well. Until I looked it up and went, oh, it's Lana Del Rey. Which makes sense once you hear it. You're like, okay, I guess it is Lana Del Rey. But exactly like Angelina. Yes, I agree. I wish it was. Although maybe she can't sing.
I don't know, but I know she can do a few things. That's how she stole Brad Pitt, according to that book that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh.
No, she did something. She was able to do something with her mouth. That's what I heard. But that's it. You ain't heard that from me because I ain't one to gossip.
So, what?
I think the term tongue punch to the fart box was used.
That took me a minute to.
That's all I'll say. That's as graphic as I'm gonna get.
Tongue lock to the fart
tongue
box?
punch.
Oh. Holy, I've never heard that term before. It's like when a knuckle dragger on the Thundercats monkey, and it's a knuckle dragger. So Thundercats, do you think, I'm really interested to seeing what, your kids would actually, do you think when this Thundercats movie comes out that this would
it'll appeal to Joe and probably actually, honestly, so yeah, they'll like it because they like if it's action adventure and stuff like that. I think they'll like it. My little girl is the epitome of little girl unicorns, magic princesses, but she will brawl with those boys if she has to. She tries to outsmart. Oh my god, she's so funny. She'll tell my littlest son, Matthew, I think you want to watch PJ Masks now, don't you? You know you like PJ Masks. Oh, how about Gecko Boy or whatever it's meanwhile because she wants to watch him. She wants him to come to me and ask instead of asking. So she manipulates them. You really like that show. You'll have a lot of fun watching it. Why don't you put that on?
You'll have a lot of fun watching it.
Total manipulation. She's going to manipulate
But you know what though? That's good because she's surrounded by men.
I know.
She is the woman of the house.
If she goes that way, whatever, again, I don't put any any kind of things on anybody.
Labels,
labels. But if she goes, if she likes boys or whatever, she'll work them. That's good though.
That's good. Yeah, let her be ahead. Let her be ahead of them. The
she won't put up with them. She'll what was it from My Big Fat Greek Wedding? The man is the head. The woman is the neck, and she can twist the head any way she wants. So you said Star Wars. What else?
Well, I'm trying to think of again. So I wish I had a more powerful. Answer. It's so generic for me to say Charmed. I don't want to.
So let me pose it to you a different way. I thought about something for a while about events that happened in pop culture that meant something to us or changed the way you thought about something. So what about that? Let's you want to dive into that? I think we can probably do something like that.
Yes, yeah. Because there's so many memorable things. I'm sure we could just.
Things top of the head. Think about no particular order, but things that have happened to you. Because again, this show is based on retro, but a very pop history retro. Because we do movies, we do music, cartoons. So what kind of sticks out for you? We'll kind of bounce back and forth. What about that?
Well, the first thing that I can think of is, my God, real life. My God, the death of Anna Nicole Smith. For some reason, that shocked me. I guess we know leading up to this.
Make beautiful music together. What was she saying when she did? God. My body,
like my body.
I used to go like my body, Dunkin' Donuts, baby.
That's a trim spa, baby.
So what? I'll agree with you in that because what got me was that again,
her son
dying,
probably,
and then her. So I feel like that really was tragic. It was so tragic that she was so distraught. And again, I think there was foul play in some portions of these things. But
Howard Stern, I think this married her. Not the shock jock.
Not the billionaire shock jock that would have us snuffed out.
We're talking about a lawyer, Howard Stern, who married Anna Nicole, filmed her in states of, various drug use while she's pregnant. Remember the clown video with her with the clown makeup pregnant? I totally believe killed her son because
he would have.
He even took pictures of him dead in the hospital to sell and in the coffin. Who does that when you're in shock?
Love and in shock. Yeah, I agree with
exactly.
So that I agree with you.
Pretended to be the father of the child, the baby. Yeah, Danny. I think she was murdered. Yes, she has drug issues. Probably started way before Howard was in the picture, but there's something to that.
You want to go tit for tat with this? What do you want to do? So, go ahead. So Ryan.
What day was this? What day was this? I got.
So there's two different Michael Jackson stories. So let's start with this first part.
I didn't even think of the other podcast.
So let's start with the first part. So I'm working. I don't even know what job I was working at or where I was. I was across the country. I think it was in California, and you were in New York. I'm working.
2009.
So
Set the picture. Picture it.
I'm working, and had a very long day, and all of a sudden I look at the very end of the day because I didn't look at my phone because I was just so busy, and I get a text message. Michael died. Now,
Oh my God.
If we don't know, we have a brother named Michael. So immediately, considering I was at work and we did not have news on, nobody was talking about Michael Jackson passing away because I was just busy doing my job. I thought my brother died because Ryan just doesn't say, oh my God, I can't believe Michael Jackson is dead or died or MJ. He goes, Michael is dead. So talk about devastating and insane and oh my God moment for me.
It's one of those things that I wrote so fast before my brain could even catch up that I was literally I was walking into a Best Buy. I can picture this very moment, walking into a Best Buy. Everyone around was like literally coming out going, I can't believe it. But like, and I'm walking around and all of a sudden I looked it up. Michael Jackson died. David was the first person I texted, but of course I left out the Jackson part.
Yes, so that was one Michael Jackson moment that was shocking for me. Do we want to go into the part about the candlelight vigil?
Well, there was, I guess, I don't even remember. There was a gentleman that I guess wanted to court me back in the day online and was
a gentleman that wanted to court you while you were having tea on the lanai as well.
Yes,
Blanche
on the lanai. I had no interest in this person, just wanted to be friends. So there was one time after that, I think, right? Because I think I didn't message back or something right away, and he got pissed off for some reason. And
did I take your phone? Did I just take your phone and type it?
Well, we took a picture. Do you remember this? I'm like, where's a glove? Like, we took a picture of a candle, and it was like not even like a Michael Jackson glove. It was like a white like winter glove that I just had on my hand, like acting like it's a Michael Jackson. What did we say, David? Like,
how dare you? How dare you? Basically come after me when I'm at a Michael Jackson candlelight vigil. How dare you?
And that's all it took was to explain it, because at that time the news was showing all these people doing these like Michael Jackson candlelight vigils. So when in doubt, this can be used for many different things. Substitute blank candlelight vigil why you didn't get back, but you got to send a picture along with it.
Yes, you have to have evidence. Everybody wants evidence, visual evidence, and you have to use your own hand and stuff because
yes,
people will nitpick everything. So if you have a little tattoo or something, make sure you have that in the picture so people see it.
But this was like the beginning of iPhones and everything. To move on from Michael.
So talking about deaths, Aaliyah. No, seriously. So Aaliyah, I cried. I felt so bad. I had just seen the interview that she had done, and they asked her what she wanted to be remembered by. She said basically, I don't know exactly the wording, but she basically said, I want people to remember me as an all-around entertainer, but more so a good person. She died very after that, filming the video for Rock the Boat. And so funny because she was also in Queen of the Damned, which had to have been so hard because she was playing a dead vampire, and it was after she had passed away. So for her family and friends, and for her family and friends and fans, it's particularly hard because knowing that she was dead, that it was so new, and that she was playing the undead, and to find out that the plane went down because it was overloaded, because the person didn't know what they were doing, and basically they found her her body curled up outside of the plane crash because it was a small plane. She was filming a video on a tropical location.
Yeah, and it was almost done, wasn't it? Was it done or was it almost done?
They put it out. It was out.
Yeah, Rock the Boat.
So that really, Left Eye Lopez as well.
Oh, I was going to say the Left Eye, too, similar. I mean, she was literally in the middle of filming a documentary when she died, right? I mean, you could see leading. I know that they hit something.
She was in Honduras, right? They say that she was murdered, too, because she was doing some kind of work with Dr. Sebi. This guy said he can cure AIDS and all these different things. I don't know. So that said, that definitely was going along the lines of, Anna Nicole, MJ, Aaliyah, Left Eye.
Well, Whitney Whitney, I mean, talk about, I guess some things aren't shocks, but when you hear like Whitney use, it's like these big names. Of course, everyone, we all have a
reverence and love for these people and their talents and stuff, but you also know that they have, some of them have very sordid histories and are struggling with drug abuse and depression and things like that, you know? So that's definitely something. Oh my God, I feel like this is a death rattle.
Oh my
One
God.
thing, let's go back to actual, let's dip into fantasy a little bit too.
fantasy. Okay, let's go.
Or
Let's
TV.
do it.
So we'll talk about another death. We had actually discussed this previously. Buffy's mom.
Ugh.
Buffy's mom, that I think was one of the biggest, to me, that episode when she died, when she found her on the couch and she was dead, was more traumatic, poignant than her biggest fight against Glory and the first one
when
and
she
this.
died, yeah.
And it was like, I think that episode really basically like stands alone in, you know, pop history as one of the ones that really like, I
And
don't
no
know,
music. Do you remember
it
that?
was
The
crushing.
body.
It was called The
No-
Body, wasn't it?
The body. They used no music at all. It was like a silent episode, and yeah, the emotions in that, and just having Buffy come in, and she's like, "Mom, mom, mommy," and you know the character of Buffy. This character went through everything, and she still remained a good person, which is wonderful.
That was horrible. That was probably one of the things that really shook me. It was kind of like America's Mom died too, you know, and like modern, more
because
semi-modern
Joyce
thing.
was, and it was stemmed from a real life medical thing, which was even worse because it's a
Yeah.
real life thing.
Yeah.
Well, followed up with that, what about Buffy being brought back from the dead and seeing her as that skeletal, rotting corpse? I still get like, ugh, about that, thinking that Buffy was rotting, dead in the coffin, and then had to break her way out.
So again, well, I guess death really shocked us.
Death!
The other thing, and I don't think I have anything else in mind other than the episode of Charmed when Paige takes Piper and Leo to the
Hell
the
hath
gra-
no fury.
the grave, a mausoleum, not a mausoleum, but it's like
a wall, like a
yeah,
vault,
like a wall.
like a wall.
And she takes her there, and she basically brings out the emotion, and in Piper, Holly Marie, and she basically says it's okay to be angry at her, tell her, you know what I mean? And you think that she's going to go after Paige because she's been very angry at Paige this whole time because she's alive and her sister's dead, and meanwhile this is a half sister and all this stuff. But she says, how dare you, and she runs and she's banging on the crypt, whatever, the door, little thing with the name on it.
Yeah, the wall with the plaque and
And
everything.
she's saying, how dare you do this to me, how could you leave me?
Tell her, Piper. It's all right to hate her. You should hate her. When my parents died, I hated them for it. I was alone, and I hated them. It is okay to hate Prue. How dare you leave me? How could you go and die and leave me here all alone? Please go back. I need you. Please go back.
Oh my god, literally, I could cry thinking about that too. That was
I'm
actually
crying right
probably
now,
one of the
tearing up
best.
right now.
That was probably one of the best. Give it up to Holly Marie. I know she's got a new name now, so it's not Holly Marie Combs, but
Ryan.
Holly Marie Ryan. They give it up to Miss Holly Marie Combs Ryan, Jacqueline Smith, whatever. God bless you. But that was one of the best acting pieces I've seen on the show.
Well, even her whole thing with getting ready for Prue's funeral in the episode prior.
I
her,
wonder, because they were good friends at the time, and that it was such a shock that she really drew from the emotion of the fact that, you know, they just got rid of Shannon Doherty like overnight for whatever reasons, and I think that might have hit her too because she was her friend, and
they were best friends. They were best friends. At the time.
I mean, that's definitely something. What else comes to mind to you?
Well, what about, speaking of Charmed, I still love when they vanquish Cole and, well, the fifth time, I don't even know at this point, when that moment when Phoebe is crying and they're playing that song Courage, and then they do the thing where they come into Phoebe's room and they go in sister order of their age almost, like Piper, you know, embraces her, and then Phoebe's in the middle, and then Paige kind of like comes in at the end. It really was a moment to solidify them as sisters, which was wonderful.
Well, all those things shocked me. Is there anything you're thinking of that happened on TV or?
Yeah, that wasn't. Who shot JR?
No, seriously. What else? What else is there?
And not even just death. I mean, there's shocking things that just happen in general. Like,
does anybody remember the newscast NBC News with Sue Simmons and Chuck Scarborough when It looks
I
like
know
he's
I-
falling asleep. Like it must have been. It was like late news, and she basically says, "What does she say to him? What are you doing, fucker?" Or something like that.
At 11, pay more at the grocer, but getting less. We'll tell you how to get the most.
The fuck are you doing?
We need to acknowledge an unfortunate mistake that I made, and one of the teases we bring to you before this program. While we were live, just after 10 o'clock, I said a word that many people find offensive. I'm truly sorry. It was a mistake on my part, and I sincerely apologize.
David found out something later about this news anchor.
So somebody knew Sue Simmons, and they said she was just a total filth bag. Basically, pre-pandemic, obviously, this is many years ago. She would come into newscasts with like ratty old pantyhose or like whatever on bottom, so you didn't see it because she was sitting at the desk. She basically
So
didn't
from
care.
the waist down, so the top up, she was professional woman
Yeah.
news anchor. Bottom down, you don't know
Trash.
what you're getting.
Trash.
Trash.
So she was just like didn't care. She was like did not care.
But I ain't one to gossip, so if anyone asks you, you ain't heard it from me. No, you haven't.
There's something, and again, you have to put the link to this. So something else that shocked me before, very obscure, is on YouTube, there are these things to learn English from Japan or Japanese to Japan, Japanese to English and English to Japanese. And there's this one where the girl is dressed like a geisha-esque sort of a thing. And I don't even know what can we say this because it's really vulgar. She basically is going over common phrases and she's saying like, do you want to call to an American, like a guy? She's like, come on, Tashi, come on, Tashi. And then she proceeds to teach you to say things from Japanese to English, like can I say that?
Oh yes, you're so good. Come on, Toshi. Hey, Toshi, come on.
Put it in the link, but she says the most graphic thing. I will say for me, I will say that also Selena's death was shocking to me in the sense of, so I knew about Selena before she was more mainstream because at the time my boyfriend was Spanish speaking and he knew about her and he kind of introduced me to her. And I remember hearing her and really like thinking, wow, she was phenomenal, the energy. And then to know that she was killed by her fan club president who was stealing money from her. Terrible loss. I think it's a tribute to who she was and how talented she was that they're still making shows about her. Obviously her parents pushed for these things too, but it still sells. It's still the movie Selena made Jennifer Lopez's career. I'm sorry. She was the Fly Girl before that. I mean, again, no offense. I love J-Lo, love the music, everything, but this is what really springboarded her to stardom.
Definitely.
So
it's like almost like it positioned her to be able to become a singer.
Well, because people thought she was actually singing in the movie.
Yeah.
They didn't know Jennifer, didn't know Selena too. They thought she was the actually one singing. I mean, she had the dance.
She's gone
moves
on
now.
to do that, of course.
Yeah.
Like she does do like Selena tributes and sometimes when she does shows and things like that. Well, okay, here we go. Traumatized, and we definitely are going to do an episode about this, but Return to Oz, The Wheelers.
Come here, chicken!
Beware the Wheelers.
Dorothy, it's Wheelers. Dorothy, Belina.
I mean, David.
Is that a chicken with you? Yeah. Oh, that's your girlfriend. That's your girlfriend's movie. What's her name?
Fairuza.
Okay.
Bulb. Return to Oz is traumatic in general. It is not the Wizard of Oz that you think of. It is they give Dorothy electric shock therapy at the beginning
There's an
and
evil
things
queen
like
that cuts people's heads off.
Mombi, forget it. Just the fact that whole scene when she goes into Mombi's palace and all the heads start coming alive kind of thing. But the Wheelers are human-like creatures that have wheels for hands and feet, but they're like elongated. It's just the scene how they set it up. Like there's graffiti, beware of the Wheelers, and Oz at this point is like everyone's turned to stone and it's quiet. And then when these squeaking, wheeling creatures come out to chase Dorothy, it's traumatizing. They chase her into a room, basically, down a cavern. Terrifying.
And they said they're going to tear her body apart and throw it into the deadly desert.
Deadly desert!
You have to come out sooner or later. And when you do, we'll tear you into little pieces and throw you in the deadly desert.
I haven't done anything to you.
Isn't that a stolen lunch pail in your hand? Isn't that a chicken in there with you? Chicken! The Gnome King doesn't allow chickens anywhere in Oz.
Who's the Gnome King?
Who is the Gnome King? Who is the Gnome King?
One of them, yeah, definitely gives me the Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman feel. One of those people, a rusty anchor.
I'm just trying to think of you and I have a very unique perspective on certain things. Like, I'm trying to think of what really, obviously, when, again, a lot of deaths. Lady Di, Lady Diana died.
That was JFK Jr. I mean, been through everything. Even with that Miley Cyrus, the tongue twerking back in the day. Like, I feel like nothing, after the last year that we've been through.
Well, that's true, too.
I feel like nothing, at this point, anything could happen. Anything. People were licking toilets. People, remember that?
Touching
people were licking...
masturbating on Zoom meetings, on newscasts. Yeah.
Couldn't even control himself. Couldn't even wait till turn the camera off.
Certain things.
Couldn't even...
I'm really trying to think of things that really shaped us. That really what really.
Oh well, you? I know it. The pop culture shocking moment is when David showed me "Desperate Living" for the first time by John Waters. I didn't know what hit me, what was up, what was down. I didn't even know movies existed like that. It's almost John Waters is almost like snuff films. They're like. They're so shocking that you're shocked that these things were able to be put on. But they're like, I mean, now I guess nothing, but Desperate Living out of everyone, David. I mean,
Desperate Living was, I mean, honestly.
I mean, yes, all John Waters films, and especially, I mean, what's the one with the feces that everyone knows about with Divine eating the feces?
God, yeah.
But to me, Desperate Living beats it all because there's a town, it's Mortsville, this kingdom of like
degenerates and criminals.
Degenerates and criminals. Lesbians, Mink Stoll as what the hell is her character?
Edith
name?
Massey was the queen.
Oh my god, who's better known as the Egg Lady in one of John Waters'
Eggs. Yeah, Mink Stoll. Oh god, I'm not responsible for your personal safety or happiness. And then the woman that's like, I sleep in the bedroom next to you naked.
That's the one.
Oh, so actually, John Waters did a much more high budget movie along the same lines with. Johnny Knoxville and Chris Isaacs, Tracy Ullman. So it was Tracy Ullman, Johnny Knoxville, Chris Isaacs, and Selma Blair were the main character, the big names. And that was definitely a funny movie. It was all about sex addicts in a town. And they it was listen. So yes, anything John Waters was shocking, and I have to say, very graphic and perverse and horribly filmed, because that also adds to the ambiance, because he probably had no money, no budget. But like having that B film, C film, D film quality, while the most bizarre. I mean, one of the movies, there was a baby ring where they were taking their babies and killing them in a basement and selling them.
That's the one with the
one with the filthiest people in the world. Oh my god, yeah. I don't even know. You have to be a special kind of person to be able to watch John Waters films and not be like, what?
I guess now I would say, afternoon viewings, but I know at the time I was like,
very graphic and over the top. Yeah, I think I purposely did stuff to shock you because I thought it would make you. I don't mean like that. Like, I wanted you to realize that your perspective of the world was very maybe narrow compared to the craziness. It wasn't about like trying to harm you or to make you feel uncomfortable. Not. It was more like, do you realize that there is stuff as crazy as this out there, or there's stuff as bizarre as out there, that this is, this is very vanilla, but this is over the top, and there's everything in between. I think I always talk to you. I honestly always try to talk to you like an adult whenever I spoke to you over the years, even when I didn't see you for long periods of time. I always did my best to always try to speak to you like I would an adult, even if you were younger. I feel like it was going to help you.
Well, that's why I always say he was the biggest inspiration for me over the years for everything. For everything. Did
I ever tell you that when I was doing music and I did some recordings, and bands that I worked with did recordings, that we would go into record stores and we would buy like cheap knockoff, like cheap, like, whatever. And again, no offense to anybody, but like just come crappy CD of like, flute music or something. And we would take the sticker off and put it onto our CDs that we made and put them inside the record stores in hopes that someone would just buy them and recognize the music.
How smart! But how smart is that, though?
Yeah.
I wonder if they would say, like, what would show up on their system. They would say,
probably
like,
wouldn't, but it'd be funny.
They would be like, okay.
This is trash. Throw it out.
No, somewhere around the line, there's probably floating around there.
So yeah, that was funny. But
this was fun because it's not our normal episode. I like that we took these topics all over the place. I don't know if anyone else is interested.
I think we always take things all over the place. It's just we try to reel it back in with the subject. Like we talk about like global warming, and it's like, oh, but wait a minute, the Thundercats episode we were talking about with Mumra. Aliens are invading. Oh, but
June 1st, they're declassifying the alien information, everybody. June 1st of this year, declassification from the US government. Papers are going to be released.
They're going to release papers. I
think it's a distraction, honestly. I think it's like, look over here while we're pulling out this out of here. And now you got aliens to deal with.
Honestly, I think if the aliens, if they are aliens, they would have already taken over or had at us.
Well, they do those probings. So, oh my god, this is the beginning of summer for all of us. This is gonna be 3 months of new episodes.
It's Dad Bod Summer, everybody. It's hot Dad Bod Summer. Like, what is it? It's hot girl summer.
Hopefully you can all handle that, because my body's too bootylicious for you, baby.
I'm interested in seeing how people are going to enjoy being this, like, continuity thing where it's all Friday the 13th movies, and how we're doing Saturday morning cartoons now with the Thundercats. So
yes, which is, I'm actually kind of excited because that does fit with Saturday mornings that way.
I hope we don't get anybody upset as like Friday morning on the way to work or something is like, I wanted to listen to Thundercats, now I'm not listening on Saturday.
That's true. What happened? I will definitely make more posts as we get closer as well to remind everybody.
So don't make us jump the shark.
Fonzie, literally.
Listen, Fonzie, I'm jumping the shark.
So that was this week's Radical Retro Rewind. So you can always reach us at Universal Appeal 2020, all one word, for David, and the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, all one word, on Instagram as well. You can also find us on YouTube, where we update with videos and different fun little things on there. We just had a contest, so we are planning to have another contest going forward in the summer for anyone who didn't participate in the last one. Basically everybody. So far.
But Jane heard that from me.